chair of the select board. To my left is Bill Gagey, selectman. To my right is Mark Terry. So those of you who don't know us, congratulations, not easy. Thanks for coming tonight. I'm going to call this meeting in order at 6 o'clock. And I will accept the motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Unanimous? Oh, Jeff's already signed, right? Except for one. And I'll accept the motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Okay. How did you all agree? When I just have a chair that sign these, you already know. Okay, we're going to have an agenda. Now, there's some copies up here. Yes. Mr. Bates,
Here,
how many of you see?
the request to Jody to attend the meeting should be on the agenda. And essentially, it is to hear what the town's plans are to improve and maintain Old Moore Road.
Okay, you, David, and I met out at the property earlier last week. We spent about an hour going over that. And I believe that you and Dave basically came to a agreement as to what was going to be done. You seemed to think that was a good plan, that you did not want any more material on it, that Dave was going to reform some of the sides of the road between grading and ditching, and that seemed to be something that you were interested in. So Dave, do you want to go over what the plan is right now and when you plan to go ahead and move forward?
Yes, like I told you, Thursday I'm gonna come over and we'll cut it down, spend the day shaping it up, do some ditches, we'll throw a little nice gravel on it so the kids can ride their bikes and stuff. And then at some point we're gonna put that culvert in. And then I'm gonna regrade the road again once I'm finished ditching. But I got time this week, it's gonna be dry, so this is what we're gonna work on.
Just some comments, Mr. Chair. The meeting that you referenced, where Dave and you and I met out on the Old Moore Road, was an unscheduled meeting. I didn't know anything about it. I arrived late. You had to leave early.
After an hour talking to you.
Can I finish, please?
By all means.
There are no minutes to that meeting. There are no record of what was discussed. Mark, unless you have record?
Minutes were not required. It wasn't an official meeting. It was Dave, it was me contacting Dave because we received information from Jody that you wished to come to tonight's meeting. I prefer to do my homework in advance. So I asked Dave if he would please, I was unfamiliar with the road, that you were the way it was being described. I asked Dave if he would please take me out there and show me that and tell me a little bit of history about what was going on. The fact that you actually arrived at that point and came down to see us was a surprise to you as well as it was to us. So there was no scheduled meeting or anything like that. We were simply standing there doing our research. You came along. What a great opportunity to go ahead and have a conversation. That's what we had with the conversation.
Thank you. And so what will go into the record tonight as to the town's plan to improve and maintain that road? What will go into the record?
What did the road agent just tell you he was going to do?
Well, first of all, I'm not an engineer. and I'm not a hydrologist. And so don't look to me for approval of what should be done, because I don't know. All I can tell you is what shouldn't be done. In the state of the affairs for the last 10 years, in my own personal opinion, is what should not be done. So if the town plans to continue to elevate the grade of the road another 10 to 12 inches above what it was in 1987 to cause further runoff of not only water and gravel and other things into taxpayers' property, I think the town needs to develop a different plan. As presented to this board back in 2017, I asked a number of critical questions to which I got no answers. So if you don't mind, I'll share those same questions with this board if you want me to.
I believe that's absolutely fine as far as you sharing those. However, when we met accidentally on your road, it was determined that they was going to remove material from the road, not build up. So any buildup that you're talking about was not discussed as something that was going to be done moving forward. What they said to you in 2017 is not something that anyone on this board is overly familiar with, because none of us were selected at that point in time. If you would like to briefly discuss this, that would be fine. Otherwise, I will ask for you to submit your questions and everything in writing, so we have a chance to review it, and we then go ahead and we talk about this again at the next meeting.
My fear with that, Mr. Chair, is that I don't want to give you the impression that I know what I'm talking about, because I don't. I leave that to the more intelligent people, including Dave and others. I have suggested to the town that they hire a professional consultant to come in and make recommendations.
If we brought in a consultant to review Old Moore Road, that is one of numerous dirt roads that we have in town. We certainly have nowhere near the budget required to bring a consultant in and have him look at 14 miles, I believe it is. Is that correct, Dave? 14 miles of dirt road?
Yes.
And provide us with a evaluation of what each road needs. Your road, Old Moore Road, was a road back from the 1800s. My guess is when that road was created, it was not created anywhere near the level of engineering that a gravel road at this point, a class 5 road, would be designed today. So personally, I do not believe it's fair that we bring in an engineer to look at your road in particular. I'm certainly willing, and I'm one of 3, so if there's a vote on this and I lose that vote, so be it. But my suggestion would be, at this point, to allow Dave, who has vastly more road building experience, and I believe anyone else in the room, please raise your hand if you have more experience than our road agent at creating roads. And see if what he plans to do works. If at that point it does, hallelujah. If it doesn't work, then we need to keep taking a look at it. Questions, comments?
Well, it all depends on how far you want to go with this tonight. You suggested that I write a letter. I'm not going to do that.
That's fine.
I just want to share with not only you, but the people in the room, that 35% of all the roads in this country are unpaved. And
God, they're not all our responsibility.
or me either. And to maintain those roads, there are standards that have been adopted. Various counties and municipalities and towns have reviewed all the various standards that are available out there. Standards such as using a concave blade when you grade a road. Standards like using either a chemical or organic bonding agent when anything is put over another topping. It's my understanding that we don't use bonding agents at all. It's my understanding that we don't use a concave blade. Our road, it's not my road, our road doesn't get ditched every year. I've been doing it myself at a tremendous expense and a lot of time. I've had to go out and buy equipment specifically to maintain our property so the appearance is not distracted by the condition of that road. So there are other people out there maintaining unpaved roads and they're doing it right. I'm going to invite you, John, and Bill, if you'd like to take a tour on Poocham Road. But don't stop at the Westmoreland line. Go all the way to Chesterfield and just see if you notice a difference.
I tour every day, because that's where I live.
Do you go to Chesterfield, Bill?
Yeah, that's usually how I go to Key.
Well, plus, you drove these roads as part of your job.
Yeah, I think the roads here are maintained, their roads are maintained great this time. I mean, kudos to Dave, he does a great job. In my opinion, I think they're better in Chesterfield. In my 36 years working for UPS, I'd say maybe Hancock was about the same as Dave. Because I know Dave, I'll give him the edge, but no, he does a great job. And the huge issue with the roads is mud season. And he keeps that road passable every day. Years ago, I don't know who the road agent was, it was Junior, but we used to have days where we couldn't get up and down out of there. We'd have to park the car and wait 2 days, or not go.
And collect your extra parts at the Ingrams.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually went down, we had a meeting this morning, a very quick meeting, and because I hadn't been on, other than when Dave drove me around the town to introduce me to his work environment. I live on Hat Road. Now, I'm lucky enough to have a paved part of Hat Road, but I will tell you at the other end, it looks good, and it's a rough road during this time of season. And yours is kind of equivalent to our road. And of course, we've had a lot of rain also the last couple of weeks. So again, I understand your concern. I saw the flooding down there also, and I assume that's got something to do with the culvert, which I think Dave is thinking about working on. So, yeah.
I have been a selectman for just over 3 years. I get a report from Dave probably at least 35% of those days, 35 to 40% of those days, at around 6 o'clock in the morning, telling me how we're doing, how are the roads, are all the roads passable? Usually more so, during the winter, obviously, or on days like, weeks like this, where we get 4 inches of rain in a very short period of time. The fact that we have Dave going out at 3 o'clock in the morning and looking at roads so that he knows what has to be done so people can get to work, school buses can get through, kids can get to school, and then he calls me and tells me about it. I don't think there's very many road agents that do that. So if Dave tells me he has a plan, tells me personally that he has a plan, I put my faith in Dave. So again, I would suggest that we allow Dave, who has only received kudos from, I can't tell you how many, if there's any one person in town who gets more attaboys, either on Facebook or by calling us or people stopping us or whatever, and telling us what a great job Dave does, I don't know that person. I wish it was me, it's not. So my suggestion, again, is to let Dave do what he has planned, including the replacement of that culvert, because that culvert is an issue, and see how we do at that point. I also invite you back, once this is done, to comment as to what you think about this. Because, and Harry, you live across the street from Mr. Bates. If you have anything that you wish to add, or if there's any other residents of Old Moore Road in the room.
Road. Now we go up, and it's because the road has been built up.
Oh, I have,
My opinion is, scrape that down,
Cut it down.
whatever. But right now, that everything Thomas said is accurate, and it's,
and I'm not disputing that in the slightest bit. When you stand down where the culvert is, and you look back up towards Route 63, you can see where the driveways are, and you can see that the material that's been added has increased the height of that road. We have, when I lived, when you bother, there's Adams Road at one point, where the town accepted the part that down Glen, where Adams Road connects with Stonewall Circle. There was a small section of really what was Don's driveway, but was town road and therefore had to be plowed. Don requested that not be done any longer, and so the town voted to go ahead and do that. We absolutely agree. Dave, I believe, am I speaking correctly, that that's part of what you have planned to do, is to bring that down a bit, sculpt it?
Yeah, that's what we spoke about. It's gotta be
That's everything
cut
that we
down
spoke about.
just below your lawn with some nice hard packed gravel on it
Back on it.
and crowned.
It has to be
So the
crowned.
water doesn't run into your driveway or run into Harry's.
And the ditching that is going to be done along with that would hopefully direct that water that's coming off the road due to the crown, hits the ditch, goes down to the culvert, and then heads out through the culvert. Mr. Bates.
Mr. Chair, would it be my understanding then from the conversation we had down at the site that the 4-inch stone that was spread on top in a certain area
That was 2
is
inch
temporary?
because it was so muddy.
Is that temporary?
Yeah,
Dave
Okay.
we're
mentioned
gonna
that.
leave it there.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, there's no.
Hey, you're standing right there. I mean,
Without having that meeting with you, Mr. Chair, I would not know that.
oh no, but it's.
To be honest with you, that's what prompted my concern. That stone that was out there looked awful dangerous to me. There's a couple of little kids learning how to ride their bikes, which now they cannot do. And for people that are trying to walk, it's almost impossible. It looks to me, with no disrespect to Dave or to you, that road right now is upside down. The heavier stuff is on top.
Was on top. And
That looks upside down to me.
as Dave mentioned to you while we were standing there, you mentioned the 4-inch or the 2-inch, whatever stone to Dave, and Dave said that was to keep the road passable because of the amount of mud. And that is how he had to do it, so that people who live distal to that part of the road were able to go ahead and still be able to use the road to get through. So that's, and then the two of you spoke about that at length, and you spoke about it, forget the at length, it was just simply a topic. And you mentioned to Dave that you did not want to see that stone back there, you did not think it was proper, and Dave said he wasn't going to put it back there. So, you know, I believe question answered.
I think the important thing about tonight is all of this gets made as a record to the minutes, so that we can now have, a plan to follow. The meeting at the site last week or whenever,
There was a conversation. We
Never
shouldn't-
happened.
You know what, we shouldn't even call that a meeting. That's what we call a conversation.
It was a site visit.
That was a site visit. It was literally nothing more than research so that I could see the road.
and that's okay. What if I didn't show up?
Then we would have had that meeting tonight.
At the site,
No,
At the road.
right here, you'd be telling us your part, and we'd be discussing it tonight.
okay.
The nice part about that was, we were able to, over an extended period of time, which we do not have tonight, to go ahead and discuss it. And so we spent much more time discussing it on site. It was very fortuitous that you came along when you did. And personally, I was very glad that you did, and that you came to us. You wondered what was going on, because that allowed us to have the conversation that was needed to come to what I thought then was an agreement, and I think now we're still basically at that same agreement. So, unless there is anything else that we can address at this point, I'd actually like to move on because we have a few other things to do tonight, and we're gonna be really tight on time.
Yes, thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
I just want to say that we love our dirt road.
You want another one?
Thank you very much, I'm glad you do.
Well, another one, you can't grade the roads now, you know, you gotta let the road dry out.
Yeah. And some years it's
Okay,
muddier
excuse
than
me,
others.
this isn't a conversation tonight.
Yeah.
I've set some ground rules. We have a fairly divisive issue in front of us this evening. The town select board has spent a considerable amount of time doing due diligence. It is neither our place to promote or to prohibit this without having done our research. Our job as a select board is to do the due diligence required so we know what the town is either able to do or not able to do. So this evening, based on what we have found with the fire chief, with town council, with the fire marshal, your letter that you dropped off with us today, comments that we have received from Mr. Katz. I would like everyone to please address their comments to me. They may not be answered by me, they may be answered by the other selectmen. But to keep things orderly, please address your comments to the chair. It's a great advantage of the chair. After that, I have a statement that I would like to make. The selectmen may join into that. When we are done, we will have 20 minutes of public comments. We'll ask people to spend maybe 3 minutes on their comments, and then relinquish the floor to someone else who may wish to speak. Any questions? Perfect. So, as I mentioned, it is neither the board's place to support or prohibit any of this that has come before us. We absolutely understand your concerns. There is no doubt about that. We understand Mr. Katz's concerns. It seems that there has been a long-standing issue between neighbors of things that some people think should be allowed, some things that people think should not be allowed. What we have done as a select board is we have gone and requested town council. We just moved to new council. Drummond Woodson is the name of our legal firm at this point. They specialize in municipal law. That's all they do. We reached out to them and asked, given what our ordinances are, what leeway does the town have in either allowing or preventing this event from happening? We also have worked very closely with Fire Chief Nelson. Fire Chief Nelson has reached out on doing his due diligence to the New Hampshire State Fire Marshal. So the two best resources that we have gone ahead and spoken with. We've also spoken with the state police. So we feel that we have done our research. What we found from the town council is that we do not have any ordinances that prohibit noise or fireworks in the community. None. We also found, according to council, that if we were to try to suppress or not allow an artistic event from happening in the town, we would be subject to First Amendment violation and could be sued for doing so. So according to town council, we don't have the ability as a town on any of our ordinances to be able to say no to Mr. Katz. I'll get into some of the individual parts of that in a few minutes. So that leaves, let's take that to the side for a second. Harry, please feel free to join in any point of misspeak during this, and the same thing with my colleagues up here. Mr. Katz did not believe he needed to have any type of permit to go ahead and have flaming octopus in town. From what Fire Chief Nelson found, and had reached out to, as I mentioned, the state fire marshal, who provided a document that said, wrong, you do need to have permits for doing certain things. You are allowed to have fireworks. The state RSAs allow you to have fireworks. Fireworks make noise. You're allowed to have fireworks, you're allowed to make noise for fireworks. You need to have a
License.
well, you need to be licensed, but you also need to have a theatrical burn permit or something like that. Pardon me for not remembering the exact.
Fire performance proximity license.
Sort of. It was called differently, but basically it was the same. We reached out to Mr. Katz and told him, wrong, you do need to have this license. The gentleman that you spoke to, his name again?
Keith Borden.
Keith Borden from the Fire Marshal's office suggested to Fire Chief that Mr. Katz contact him directly so that he can tell him in no uncertain terms, you need a permit. Mr. Katz has done that. He is currently working with the New Hampshire Fire Marshal's office. He has hired, I believe, he is either hired or is hiring a individual who is licensed in the state of New Hampshire to run such an event. I believe he was given the name by the Fire Marshal's office. He is working directly with the Fire Marshal at this point, and they are working to see if he can go ahead and actually be permitted for his event. But yes. So one of the issues that Mr. Carroll and the folks that signed the letter, again, we get it. Regardless of whether we like it or don't like it, our job is to find out what the town can legally do and then perform to that level. So like today, I called because parking. So today I called the New Hampshire State Police. I spoke with Troop C Commander Lieutenant Sean Eaton. We've worked with them closely on a number of issues over the last 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever. And he can be very strict with me. There's no beating around the bush, the state trooper. He said that he was grateful that we let him know about this event and that it may or may not happen depending upon permitting by the fire marshal. And he said that if the event is held, he will properly staff to be able to maintain control, traffic control and everything on 63. Mr. Katz has sent us plans where written words, plans on where he plans on parking. He claims that he is able to put 70 to 80 cars, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Along his on his own private property. He anticipates 80 to 100 guests on Thursday, perhaps 100 to 150 on Friday, and maybe 150 to 200 on Saturday and Sunday. We shared those numbers with the state police. We have shared those numbers with the town council. Whether they're accurate or not, we cannot, we have no way to judge how accurate his numbers are. It's a guess on your part, it's a guess on our part. So I don't know how to be more accurate.
Well, this is the 4th year, so there is a track record too.
Well, it was advertised on a public website to 10,000 people. As a 4-day free frolic with the address, and it was shared to multiple other websites. So have
So
fun
you don't
with
know.
the 200 cap.
Has it been in other years posted? I believe it's been
No,
posted every
this
year.
was El Cupo.
Last year
The
was.
Church
Not
of El
nationally.
Cupo.
Not
El
nationally.
Cupo
National,
Mexico.
okay.
Excuse me.
I was just, I
You guys
had
get a
wondered.
you guys get a chance in a minute.
Yeah.
Let me first tell you all the things that we found. And then we absolutely will open this up for public conversation. He has everything from, the chief has looked at where he plans on holding, on placing El Popo. Can't make this up. It is not in the middle of an area that will cause, that the chief feels is gonna cause any potential fire damage. The device is stationary, it will not move. It's also propane. Here, I believe your comment was you're more concerned about fireworks than you are about propane. The reason being, fireworks create embers, whereas propane is simply a gas. So it's like, as, Mark mentioned, it's like turning on his gas grill, but a lot larger. Turn it on, turn it off.
Well, Gary's gonna be there.
And for part of it. But
For
not,
fireworks.
for fireworks, we have,
Yeah, and I will be there, I believe it's gonna be me and the fire marshal, we may erect this thing, and obviously we'll have to make him do a test burn or whatever you wanna call it, we will be there. We're not just gonna let him free will and do whatever he wants.
we take what you're saying extremely seriously. We understand that this is a different type of event, and we want to make sure that as a town, we make the proper decisions so that we don't put the town into any liability, nor do we want any, nor do we want to move forward if we don't think that this is going to be a legal and safe event. The fire marshal, if he has the permitting from the fire marshal, there's no higher authority in the state that we could go to at that point, or that we would go to at that point. The fire marshal says, this is okay. They approve it. They come and they inspect it, and they say, have your event. I don't see how we can stop that event. We do not see how we can stop that event. As far as the parking, the parking is going to be, as I mentioned, I think he said 70 to 80 cars on his property. He's going to be parking, that's going to be parking along his 1,400 feet of, we suggested, we mentioned that to Chief. Chief said that he has a concern about the fact that can he get emergency vehicles through there if he has those cars parked along that way. It's his private property. We cannot tell him what he can or cannot do on his private property. We can tell him it's town property or public property. We can't tell him what he's doing on his own. So what we suggested to him, and he has agreed this evening, is that we suggested that he contact CCEMS, Churchill County Emergency Medical Service, and request to hire either medics, a couple of medics to be at the event for the 4 nights, and or place an ambulance on site at his cost. He reached out to us just before the meeting, or to move his cars. The choice was move the cars. We suggest, we can't require, but we suggest you either move your cars, or you at least contact CCMS to provide medical support, should you need it. I think we should leave the parking on my property, if only to minimize the number of cars parking on the common and or River Road. With that said, yes, we are 100% on board with your idea regarding CCEMS. Should I call them and sign them up, or will you? We will not. Not our gig. He will have to do that. He is the one who will be paying them. We are not putting a dime into this entire event. So that will be up to CCEMS if they will do so. Memorial Day weekend, their staffing, who knows. We assured him that, we told him there was no overnight parking on the common, that is town property, so there was no overnight parking on the common. And that there is no parking along Route 63. He is looking at doing additional parking down on, some parking on the common, some parking down at River Road where the road is closed. So you don't have a problem with people parking where the road is closed. There's insurance in place for both the Park Hill Meeting House as well as the town.
What do you mean by that?
He has an insurance.
He has an insurance policy where, the Park Hill Meeting, Park Hill Society and the town will receive a certificate of insurance, and insurance is in place for covering both entities, that either the society or the town is liable for any of his actions.
But what about burning down people's homes?
That's what his insurance policy is supposed to be.
Well, that's at the common and the meeting house, but what about Kelly's house or Walter's house?
We haven't seen the insurance policy yet.
We'll have to see that it covers reconstruction of such a building too, which I'm sure the insurance cost for something like that would be
Yeah,
significant, so.
as I say, we have not seen the insurance yet.
I've seen it, it just names them as additional
This
insurance.
is not a conversation at this point, please? Yes. TJ, come here. Come on.
I think it's just a liability.
I think it's a liability policy. Anything else?
No, well, again, Harry's gonna be there with the truck and the EMS vehicle, right?
Well,
During
we'll be there during the fireworks.
during the fireworks, which I think is really the biggest concern at this point,
Right.
because the other fire-producing piece of equipment is gonna be stationary.
If
But
it's
it's-
licensed, if it's licensed.
Well,
Correct.
It is licensed, the,
If you get a permit.
The
You know,
current
the
operator is not
state.
licensed in the state of New Hampshire,
they're providing one who is.
who never use the equipment.
If the state fire marshal says he can
No,
do
I
it,
get it,
we have nothing
I
we
get
can
it,
say.
yeah.
So do we.
I believe the creator of this octopus is going to be the one that is, he's gonna be here.
Yes. The builder, the creator, is
Yeah.
something who was running it, he's been doing so.
Dwayne Flatmo.
Sorry,
Dwayne Flatmo.
okay? That
That ain't
sounds
me.
familiar, I didn't memorize it, but that's good.
That's not the name we have.
Now it's,
He's the creator of that El Popo Magnifico and El Popo Mechanico.
Well, like I said, that's not the name we have.
okay,
That's not the name we were given to Jason.
Okay,
okay,
so
So,
that itself is an issue.
oh, it's okay. There's obviously the fire marshal.
so as far as noise, in ordinance, 644:2, I believe it was, that you mentioned,
What's that?
644:2.
Yeah,
I mentioned that to the state police, And I said, one of the things that has been a concern is the noise. And again, we did it. What can you do about it? Or do we do anything about it? Which I've already want to look at from the side standpoint. That is the ordinance that they would use if there were, they would use that ordinance if it was a disruptive event. So the best suggestion that we can offer right now, even though they tend to staff it with troopers in the area, and also Mr. Katz said, understood about New Hampshire State Police, and make sure all are comfortable, we can contract with them to park a trooper or two on Route 63 to manage the event. I think that's a great idea. You wanna hire some troopers? Hire as many as you can. It's like strength in numbers. It's just more assurance for the neighborhood, the town, and for Jason. Or Mr. Katz, so. If the noise that you would be able to complain about is not the pyrotechnic noise, it would be the noise of the party. It would be the gathering that you would be able to complain about. I believe, I've never been to one of these events, or unfortunately, to Tim and Cindy's. Usually, we stay home. We don't go out a lot. This is my night out. So, thanks for joining. So, it is my belief from what I have been told that there has not been a noise complaint about the party in the 4 years that he has held it.
It hasn't been for 4 days either.
Yeah.
Granted, that's one of the
4
things.
days, the better part of a
We
week.
put up with the noise the other years.
Yes, we put up
And we
with the
left town
noise.
last year.
We understand, and that's the thing that has us most interested, if you will, is the 4 days versus the 1 day.
Do you also realize that 7 families out of 9 that surround the common are not for this?
You also realize that there are certain things that a town can do and certain things it cannot do based on its laws, its ordinances, and state regulations.
So you're saying that the rights of the people who pay the taxes around there and who are part of the historical society and who help take care of the meeting house have no say about anything that goes on in our home area?
Today, I believe that answer to be true. The
Oh.
reason being,
Okay?
you can be upset, that's fine, I don't blame you.
No,
for
I'm
being
taking
upset.
notes.
You can take all the notes you like, that's fine.
Oh, I will.
Take
Thank you.
whatever. The town is only able to enforce what we have on the books. Which we do not have a noise ordinance, nor do we have a gathering ordinance, nor do we have parking ordinances other than in winter on public roads. We have nothing to be able to enforce this with.
If I could, also the 644-2, if I understood it correctly, that we're gonna have state patrolmen out there, and it actually says in the ordinance, those are the folks who decide whether it's too loud or not.
Right.
And they're gonna be there.
They're gonna be there.
So, I mean, that,
They're gonna be on 63, so those of us who have a non-trespass order on his property can talk to them, or they're gonna be on the property.
I don't have an answer to that question.
Okay.
If there is sufficient noise that you feel it is warranted to contact the state police, call them. That's your option. I mean, these are our hands.
I don't believe that.
Well, then I'm sorry, you do the work that we've been doing for the last 2 days.
We have been,
Well,
actually.
Yes.
yeah, but evidently you haven't looked at all the places to talk to the folks. Okay, so, any more comments? I'd like to say something.
Well, wait,
Any more comments?
The only thing I would say is, you know, you're saying that you don't have a say, you do have a say, because you're here talking about it, and a lot of things have been addressed that you brought up, so, you know, there is a say. Does that not make sense?
We are listening to the concerns. At this
No,
point, I'd like to open this up for public comment.
Yeah, I believe that you are listening to our concerns. So,
As you speak, please identify yourself, so that Jody has it for the minutes. It's just a.
okay, so I'm Sharon Comstar, I live at 7 SU Road. You have covered a number of the things. Obviously, we're interested to hear how the licensing pans out. Thank you for this comment about the state police and that they'll be present, so we'll have someone to talk to when the music is too loud at 2 in the morning. But is it really necessary to allow blanket parking across the common?
When there is, it's not.
No, I imagine it will look like a parking lot outside of my house for 4 days, that's what I'm picturing.
So there will be, again, no overnight parking.
Who's
Any daily.
policing that?
Sorry?
Who's policing the overnight parking?
I'm assuming you're going to.
Okay.
I mean,
the state patrol's gonna be there also.
but you're not gonna be able before, before.
So we would just call and have them towed?
So you will, how would that work? I mean,
Well, I would assume they would probably call you people. And
You would have to set a time that parking has to be removed.
right,
And then we would call a state licensed tow company and then they would just.
no, I guess I would assume that you would call the select board, and the select board would go inside and say, hey, Jason, you know, we got this car, this car, this car that needs to be removed from the town common. You either move it, or we'll have it towed.
Okay.
I'm assuming, I don't know, that's up to the board of selectmen.
So you'll let us know what that time is?
yeah, we'll figure out. I wanna know exactly what time this is supposed to start and what time it's supposed to finish. As far as the performance, if you will. And when the Park Hill Meeting House has events, people park on the common. Correct?
Very limited parking on the common, and there'll be no parking at the meeting house or any of our homes. We'll have no parking and no trespassing, including the extensive parking at the meeting house will be off limits for this event.
That's absolutely.
When we have parking on the common for a meeting house event, we supervise that.
We have a
And
parking
if we
attendant.
didn't, it would just be a mud hole, because people slip and slide on that. We need to get them lined up in a way that maximizes
So,
the
Mr.
use and all the rest of it.
Mr. Katz is gonna have volunteers, his volunteers, at, directing parking to do the exact same thing. That actually is town property.
Yes.
And has the fact that no one ever asks the town if they can park there. I mean, we've not been asked by you before, maybe you park on the town property, to the best of my knowledge, from what I've heard, nor has Mr. Katz. So we can't very well say, yeah, you guys can, no, you can't. So what I will suggest is that we mark an area that is acceptable for parking, so that it is not, there's no question as to where cars are able to or not able to park. And that would be upon us. No.
I just wanted to say one thing. Actually, the locals are the ones that are parking at Park Hill because we're only coming in for a small amount of time. The people that can't walk, we figure we can walk to the event, so we always park up close to the thing. And we're there till like the event, like the fireworks are over, which the fireworks, they lasted 12 minutes and they're over. That's the extent of the fireworks. Just from being there, I know they're 12 minutes. I timed them one day just to see how long their fireworks was, but pretty much all the people that were parked on the Park Hill place were just locals, and we're gone. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and they're parked there longer because we're not there overnight. But I think most of the people are contained within his property. Like when we have our party, most all the people, that's our main concern, is getting them on our property and off the roads. And with the signs, I find it almost safer to travel over Park Hill because it's crazy without the signs on a normal basis. So that will bring a lot of safety because we're walking down and the people slow down. But
Mr. Hatt is also, Mr. Hatt, sorry Jim.
It's okay.
Mr. Katz has also said that he is going to have signage before and after the corner, letting people know there's an event and that they need to slow down.
and it's similar to the events that you guys have, like when you have like the, you know, your get-togethers on Park Hill, you guys put them on both sides as well, just to slow everybody down in case there's pedestrians or, you know. And I gotta just say one thing, we actually, from starting Timfest, there was always concerns. We used to do 2 fireworks shows and people complained about the second one, so we stopped it. Then a few years, you know, it was different things that were bothering people. So we try to adjust to accommodate so we're not overwhelming, you know, and we do address it. We do call the state police. We have them on the thing. They said, feel free anytime there's any trouble. And we've had the state police there 2 times. One time to tell us to shut down the fireworks, the second year we did it. And the other was we had a minor car accident where somebody backed into something. We had to have the police come, but that was the 13th year. And those were the only 2 things that we've actually encountered, but we also adjusted to not be a pain, you know, and that was the one thing that we had a discussion with Jason last year before he even had the party. And we said, what's really bugging people is you're cranking that that bass till like 2 o'clock and,
All night long.
Well, I know, I realize that, I heard the complaints from people, so I brought them to him. And guess what he did last year? He shut it down at midnight
One of the things,
to try to be accommodating. So if you want him to shut it down or lower the volume, I almost think he would if we asked him. I can ask him.
we've got lines people right now.
Okay.
Paul.
I totally agree with you.
Two
You guys are
questions.
an example of good neighbors.
What's
He's
I-
you're a good neighbor.
Yeah, but he will listen and he will
Excuse
adapt.
me.
Okay,
Gotta work with
I know, we will,
Here,
and we'll work with him.
not here,
Okay.
Cindy,
he's not here.
Paul.
First, I do appreciate your analysis of what the town can do and can't do legally. I find little to quarrel with that. 2 questions. One is a small one. I too tend to be at home a lot. So what's the policy, or is there a policy about alcohol use and or drug use? That's one question. And the other is a larger question, is contingency planning. What happens if instead of 70 cars, there are 400 cars? What happens instead of 200 people, there are 4,000 people? What are the contingency plans?
To the best, first off, we have no say over what type of use someone has on the property, whether they're using alcohol. There's no sale of anything allowed. This is a 100% free, no charge event, which is literally the way he's able to do this. If he was charging, there would be more permits and everything else that would be required.
If I could, there is an RSA that spells out exactly what he can and cannot do, which I read today, and I would assume, based on how much we've talked to him, we can add that to the list, but I'm pretty sure he's checked that out.
The people only parking on the common of town property who may be bringing things to his house, that is not legal. So, I
Right.
just, okay.
One more time, please, I wasn't.
So people parking on town property, so if they parked on the common with illegal substances to bring over to the party, that's not legal. And if there's police there, they should be aware that there's gonna be a lot of police in the area.
Mr. Cass is aware, and it is actually saying that he will hire police to be at the event. So I don't know how much more prepared we can be than saying that he's willing to hire state troopers to be at his party.
If I could, everything, I mean, we read the letter. We have brought as far as I can tell, we have brought every one of your concerns to Mr. Katz, and he's apparently got more money than most of us because he said, yes, I'll hire that, I'll do this. Quite honestly, he's addressing every concern that we're bringing to him. And
But why would you bring it to him? Shouldn't he be responsible enough to put this in
Shouldn't there
place
been a plan already?
before even putting it together?
He said that-
he probably might, but he didn't.
He
Can I
said
get an
it-
answer on the contingency plan, because that's what
I don't know
concerning
if
me.
it's yet because I don't have one.
Okay.
I mean, that gets back to this discussion, the comment that we had at the beginning of this, is you can make an estimate as to how many people you think are coming. We can make, or he can make an estimate to how many people he thinks are coming. We don't know.
Well,
And I understand your concern. We absolutely, we have checked everything that we can check to make sure that this is a legal and safe event to the best of our capabilities. I don't know what else to do. If you have more suggestions, we're open.
Well, hang on a second, there's gonna be state patrolmen there. So 4,000 cars show up, I'm guessing Mr. State Patrolman will have something to say about that. Because again, our town can't, that 63 can't handle it. I drove to I've never been on his property. So I drove up to his house today. All right, and we had a discussion about this at our meeting this morning. Because his idea was, well, we'll just park along the driveway. Well, Harry can't get his stuff up there. That driveway is narrow.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And so all we're gonna do is tell him, if Harry needs to get up there, he can't get up there. My guess is he will take care of that. Right? But if there's state patrolmen on site, if it's too noisy, if people are doing illegal drugs, if there's too many cars out there, that's what those guys get paid for. And there's a statement in here about our authority. We really have no authority other than to research what can and cannot be done, and then talk to him and bring your concerns to him.
Again, please, name and we're not doing it, so please announce yourself. Sure.
Thank you. I'm Paul Stebline, 60 Eston Road. First of all, I do appreciate the best effort by the select board in hearing the issues and seeking to address them. That is important. I think the contingency is the big concern. I have managed and overseen a number of events on public lands, and you contingency plan for if you have too many people. And 100 is, I think it's very reasonable to expect there'll be 100 people. And that is, it seems like it's a threshold for life safety code and FPA 101, which deals with the health services, occupancy, sanitation, a whole host of other things. And it's a state regulation. So I think that is important, but the bigger thing is the intersection of that driveway and 63 in managing the egress and ingress to that for everybody's safety. And so, I mean, that should be staffed while there are people there.
All the time.
And I do think the town does have discretion from the standpoint of the allowance of use on the commons there at Park Hill. And so, you know, there's give and take there, but there is some discretion.
So, I agree. It's a state road, we negotiated with a state road. We certainly can suggest to Mr. Katz that that be manned. He is, as I mentioned, putting the signs out, just like you folks do for your events.
Yeah.
The state troopers are aware of it, which is why Lieutenant Eaton mentioned he liked knowing now, so we can try to staff properly for later. And Jason has also said that he would hire state troopers, whether that's possible or not. I don't know, sure he can. You see him on duty all the time at construction sites and everything else. So I'm assuming he can do that if they have the people willing to do it.
I think it would be prudent to have a discussion with the state police about what is that threshold of this is no longer safe as an event or the traffic for that contingency.
Do you have a word there, so we can include that in what, we're taking this, tonight is a two-way, I hope you feel, tonight is a two-way conversation. We are trying to listen to your concerns, so that if there's something else that we have not checked, we can. I apologize, I can't speak very loud, my voice is pretty much shot today, because I've been on the phone or talking to somebody for about, at this point, I think it's 7 hours. So, I apologize for not being able to raise the volume a bit. We understand your concern, we get it. It's a 4-day event. We understand that. That was the thing that actually went first. And I will say again, we're not for, we're not against, we're just doing the work that a select board is supposed to do to provide the answers and hope to provide either the reasons that this cannot happen or to assure that it happens to the happiness of everyone. I mean, happiness is a good thing. We will take what we learned here tonight and we will share that with Mr. Katz tomorrow. If we need to speak to the state troopers, we will do that at some point this week, probably tomorrow. We want to make sure this is done properly. We also want to make sure that it does not interfere with other events that people want to have, such as you're having a wedding, you're having a whatever. You know, it's like, oh my God, let's not legislate this thing out. It's like, we live in Westmoreland because we love living in Westmoreland, every single one of us. We want to do what's right for the town. TJ, I apologize for shutting you down earlier, that was bad on my part. Do you have any comments that you would like to make?
Oh, no, I'm an insurance guy, so I just wanted to say, the Park Hill, actually, one of the insurance guys, it was just naming the town and Park Hill an additional insured. That just meant if anyone tried to come after the town or Park Hill. And again, not for or against, just that's what it was. It wasn't saying like if it burns down the building or something. So I just wanted to make sure it was, it's the one thing I know, so I just wanted to comment.
That's good, actually a good segue if I may. I'm Patty Seymour, and I'm only here to represent the meeting house because it's one of the most beautiful buildings we have in town. I don't think anybody can disagree with that statement. And it's on the National Historic Registry. And so you can't replace a building like that. And one of the concerns we have is because that location that the event is being held has been proposed as a high wind tunnel area. And prevailing winds go from west to east, and the Park Hill Meeting House is east of that. So if our embers from fireworks, if there is some misfunctioning of El Pulpo, we're in a drought. Maybe these few days of rain will get us out of it, but we have been in a severe drought all year. We've had red flag warnings. That building only needs 1 or 2 sparks to hit it, and it's down. And I just want everybody here to realize that we could lose something that's to this town because of, the other thing I think is really important, I think one of the things that got said at the very beginning is that I don't think anybody here would disagree that the individual's right to do what they want on the property is sacred. That is not in question at all. He can do whatever he wants. He can run around naked, he can blah, blah, blah. I know. And, you know, that's fine. God bless you. So I think that's absolutely clear, but that the next part, that your right to do it on your property ends at your property line. And when that spills over into somebody else's property and their right to do it on their property, that's why we're here, is to talk about that. It's not about questioning your right to do whatever you want. But if your right impedes on my enjoyment or the value of my property or something like that, that's where we have to have a discussion. And that's where good neighbors like the Hats come in, because I live on Hat Road too, and they've been, you know.
You know, we try to do the best, but with fireworks too is.
It's only a few hours, it's.
You're not on trial here.
Well, with the wind, it's a big thing, because we've had no wind where we get blocked in and then we have wind.
So I think that's an example of how an event can be run.
Well, they worked with their neighbors all along.
Right, so that's what I wanted to say. I want to make sure it gets in the minutes so people understand that this is where it's coming from, a very good place.
So they don't, from what we've been told, me, myself as a fire chief, and the board of selectmen, they don't shoot this fire-breathing octopus off if there's any wind whatsoever. That's what we've been told. Now, I don't know. My plan is to be there when they set it up, and to be there whenever they fire it off, with the fire marshal. So if I have any concerns about the safety of people or that machine, I can turn to the fire marshal and say, I don't want it, or they gotta do something different. I have that authority.
For 4 nights?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, once it's set, they
Once
can't move
it's-
it.
I am the AHA, authority having jurisdiction, so if I go down there and it's 50-mile-an-hour winds and they're shooting it off, I'll tell them, shut it down. And as far as the fireworks have been moved. They're down, now they've moved them to where Elaine Moore's field is, because there was a distance issue. They didn't have, fireworks have to be 300 feet from any open flame.
Yeah.
So that was an issue. So now the fireworks, Jason went and saw Elaine Moore, and she's allowing the pyrotechnic companies to set them down in the field. So they're gonna be a lot lower. now.
And the pyrotechnic guys are not gonna shoot off fireworks. If they have any
But these
doubt,
guys-
because they're running off a license, I
So the
believe.
pyrotechnic guys are professionals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're-
They've got, and they need to go through the state also.
Of course.
To get permits too. So, and that permit comes to me, I sign it, goes to the fire marshal, he signs it, and then, we have to have a representative from the fire department at the site when the minute those, fireworks get on site.
They won't even open the truck until.
They can't even open the trailer until
Set up.
we have a representative there. So the pyrotechnic company is very safe. I don't know about this octopus, it's new to me too.
Have
You
you
know?
seen a video of it?
I have not, I have not.
Have any of you seen a video of it?
Yes.
My time has been dealing with the state fire marshal's office.
I'll send you the video.
Yes.
Good to look at.
Yeah, you need to.
Quick question, do we happen to know if, the 200 gallons of propane will be delivered every day, or whether there'll be storage of multiple on-site?
I do not know that.
Don't know.
That's a good question.
I can speak to that if you want to. I can insurance back.
Go ahead.
There's gonna be a 1,000, again, not for our event, so just the insurance back. Superior Propane is setting a 1,000 gallon tank, in place. That's all that will be used,
So,
that's what I was,
so my question is, why did you know about it and we didn't?
because I'm the
Superior.
I'm the insurance guy, so I have my own, I don't wanna say concern, but I have my own questions too, so, that was the plan.
So there's gonna be a 1,000 gallon tank?
It's the only way they would do it, they wouldn't
That's
come,
what this
they
is
wouldn't
right
come
here.
and go on
We
that.
come and sit right here. How do you feel?
Flames are
Well,
she's
but it's a permanent tank here, this is something that's gonna be shipped in and then near a pyrotechnic device, right?
The gas company, the gas
It's
company.
gonna be
Gas company's not gonna put it anywhere near the.
I mean, I don't know.
The tank's gotta
Here's
be
where
up
the
by
fire
the
is, let's
house,
put it right next to it. No, I don't know.
and the
Gas
pyrotechnics
company.
are along this from there.
And then they're gonna refill it and whatever.
I think what they said
Probably don't.
I don't know how long that lasts, that's the thing that I still wanna know, is how long does this event last? Is this a 1 hour performance? Is this a 6.5 minute performance?
I assume it's
My guess is gonna be closer to 1 hour than 6.5 minutes.
dusk till dawn, is probably the thing.
No,
4 hours, I
it's,
think, a
it's
night.
not, and if it was, and it was making noise, you could have that shut down. You know, again, we've been told there's gonna be state police presence on the site. So,
I think that says it all.
No, I
The
think
fact
you're
is,
right.
we can't shut it down. But if it's a nuisance, there's gonna be law enforcement on site.
What if he doesn't come through with that?
I'm sorry,
What if he does not come through with that? What if he says, I'll do it, but actually does not do it?
911,
we,
just call the state patrol.
I spoke with the troop seat commander this afternoon. I told him about the event. He assured me they were going, he didn't say 1,000 or 100%. He said, I will try to staff that so we have people in that area, during the time of the events.
And even if they don't, it's a phone call. And they're responsive. I mean, believe me, we've called them a couple times here. Since I've been a selectman, and they're, the only one that beat them here is Harris. So again, if they're not on site, they're a phone call away, and they're very supportive.
And we love them. We love the state police to be around. We can say to people, you just, you know, we appreciate them because they keep people safe that come to our event. And they're really good. And we call them right up and we tell them we're having the event because they do drive-bys just to keep the neighborhood safe for everybody's well-being. And I know they'll come out. I know they'll come out, and they do usually have volunteers that are directing traffic in and out and trying to help the people. You know, in the past, maybe this year is different, but
I'm sorry, Cindy. We've had issues here in town. We call the state police. We actually tell them that this is something that's going on at such and such a time, and that we would appreciate to have 2 troopers, however many troopers they want, they can spare, on site, and they're there. Now, that's happened 2 times in particular with a case that recently closed. And, you know,
They're very supportive.
they're very supportive.
excellent.
If the city says they love them, I gotta tell you, we are thrilled. Because, and you are gonna see some changes going on in the town hall that are going to be required to make things safer and everything within the city. So,
Not the door. Everyone is asking me, did someone break in?
nobody broke the door, that's
Nobody
being.
broke the door, it's being refurbished.
So,
Okay, I apologize, we're way past our 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give this 5 more minutes and then we have to move on.
porta potties. What's the,
I don't have any.
the requirement is if there's more than 100, state law requires them. What's the deal for this event?
That is his party, his gig, and he is taking care of that, to my understanding. I don't know if he's having.
In the past, he's had porta potties.
Oh yeah, every year.
Yeah, I mean, I know he has
Yeah.
them, I don't know how many he has.
And he has them pumped. Like our event is a little bit smaller, so we get like, what, 16? we've had to up it depending on, the septic company actually tells you according to how many people, how many porta potties you need for so many days. But the ones that he brought in, he has pumped as needed, so like if they get dirty, he'll have the thing come in and pump it
So-
like every 2 days or.
Yeah, so I can assure you people, I'm gonna make every effort to make this safe. I won't, all you people are my responsibility. Whether you're residents or just passing through town or party goers up there, you're my responsibility. And if he has 400 people show up, that's gonna be a big burden on us.
I want
kind of people?
34 years.
Just 400.
And
Oh, 400, I thought he said 400, and I'm like, where?
saying that is inheriting the trust. Barry has done the work that he needed to do with the state fire marshal.
And we
It's up-
appreciate it.
It's up to the state fire marshal and Jason to come to some type of an agreement. Actually, it's up to Jason to meet the requirements of the state fire marshal. They're not coming to an agreement. Jason's gonna either meet them or not get a license. If he doesn't get a license, that's not on us, that's on him.
Yeah, it looks pretty stringent.
But it appears that they're working together. Well, Jason is truly, I have to admit, I've known Jason since the, what's he called, Wingate, whatever. You know,
The turbine gate.
Yeah, turbine gate, you know. it's like-
We all know Jason's.
No, that wasn't gonna work, folks, sorry, you know, interesting idea, wrong equipment, wrong place, wrong number of things. Jason does his homework as far as since then. Jason has done his homework on things that he has done with his fireworks. And it certainly appears to us right now, he's doing his homework on this. Again, for the 19th time that I apologize for repeating it, it's really up to the fire marshal at this point. If the fire marshal and Jason crosses the T's, dots the I's, then there's gonna be an event.
You know, there's something that we can suggest to Jason, I could do it personally, is we had to get a shuttle last year for our event, cause we parked off-site to be safe. So if he had an overload of cars, he could hire a shuttle to park down on
I was gonna suggest like
the dead.
walking up 63 on that turn is very dangerous for,
Yeah.
for everybody.
You know, and they might come right up, but.
Sir, I'm sorry, you asked to speak at one point, and we were still in board speaking.
I do have a question.
Absolutely. Name and,
I'm Bruce Farr, 7 Esky Road. You addressed, and I think you said very, very articulately what would happen with regard to an ambulance needing to get, or emergency vehicle needing to get on Casey's property in order to address any kind of a calamity or accident or someone being ill. But let's just assume that the overflow of vehicles and the possibility of there being an overflow, I think, is pretty high. Let's just assume that cars are parking up and down Esky Road, and I think those of us who know Esky Road.
you're going to mark that, correct?
I'm sorry?
You're gonna mark.
I think every property owner is marking their land, yes.
Well, yeah.
But it's only gonna be marked, the meeting house is gonna mark its property, not the town's.
We haven't determined that anyone that.
The common is the town's.
That's right.
So we'll mark that.
Okay.
We will find, there will be parking on the common.
So you're not gonna do side streets, you're gonna say you can do the
We're not
Common
doing, we're not doing
Road.
the side streets, we're doing the common.
Okay.
Again, I was gonna say that my concern is that cars parking up and down Esky Road, and we don't own up above our property on Esky Road. It's owned by, it's a private road. But cars will park up there because people coming into this event aren't going to be aware who owns what or
Who's
where.
marking it as part of it?
Esky Road?
He's marking above more as
Above
private.
where the town jurisdiction on maintaining the road ends, rated TJ's place there.
Mhm.
I'm very interested in putting up private road just for the duration of this to prevent, because there is no parking. It's 2 tracks and ditch.
There is almost
no road.
Yeah, there's a barely a road.
But my concern was that people would try and park there anyway. I've been
Yeah.
to a lot of concerts in my time, and I know where people park or where they try to park.
You
And
would
it's
park
often-
illegally at any of those concerts.
It's often with a complete disregard for any local people or
Well, you don't know what you're doing, you have no clue.
Bill Clary lives up there, the ambulance has been up and down there any number of times. If somebody like Bill, there are other elderly people living up and down that road, somebody like Bill
Let's
might,
mention it to Jason.
somebody, that road
Sure.
can't tolerate any
No parking
parking.
comments.
Yeah.
So that's a town road. So the select board or myself have the authority to move it or get towed.
Yeah.
It's no different than Jason parking on his driveway. If he parks cars on his driveway, I need to get an engine or something down there, I've got a car fire or something, I have no way of getting down there.
Right.
I can't tell Jason, he's gotta have his driveway clear, I can't tell him that. Can I tell him he can't park on Estes Road? Absolutely, because it's a town road. And if I have to get an ambulance or an engine or my rescue up there, I need to get it up there.
So suggestion would be to mark that turnaround, rated where the town turns around for maintaining the road. Mark that as no parking, so people that do try and go up there to explore,
Can turn
back
around.
around, it keeps an opportunity open to manage it.
Well, that would be up to the select board.
We are going to tag you 100% as we always do.
Put up a sign that says no parking up this way. We had the
Yeah,
same
we-
problem. One person parks and you tape the sign to the back, don't park there. And then 50 more do, and then the next year you're like, we're not making that mistake again. So
Yeah.
it's like, get into the parking lot.
So again, if we mark it as no parking, and there's a state patrolman there, who's probably got a phone number
Yeah,
to
we got it,
a tow company.
Maybe you have a radio.
I mean, you can't stop people.
No, we get it, we get it.
I
We just
want
wanted
if
to
they're on that
clarify.
private road, they can have a tow truck just call. They don't have to call anybody, call a tow truck, get them out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's on SU road, it's a public road, so.
That turnaround spot is TJ's, so you
Yeah.
cannot block that. Ted Maple will probably park there for that part.
Yeah, it looks like
You can't, it isn't, it is TJ's.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, of
so
course.
at this
But we
point,
were just saying, if people park there, then no one can turn around.
So if anybody, any one of you over that way have a safety issue, call me.
Yeah. Did you know we had a semi stuck blocking both roads last
Oh,
week?
yeah. For hours.
that should be put in there.
No, he was supposed to be delivering here. He was supposed to be delivering to the town hall, and he missed it.
Oh,
And
God,
his
that's why we
GPS
don't got it.
His GPS was on SD, and he got stuck. Right.
He still hasn't found us.
No, you're kidding.
That guy was everywhere looking for that,
So we're
like
closing
where it
this
was.
topic?
Yeah.
Yes, probably.
Sure, if by any chance, another tractor trailer truck gets stuck there, it says they're trying to deliver something to us, please call us, because we really need what you're delivering. And we still don't have it.
You're like a month late delivering.
I was directing all the traffic onto our hillside downtown.
So,
What will you include Jason's response?
I'm sorry?
Will you please include Jason's responses that you were reading from in the minutes, because I think it's
oh,
important.
absolutely.
Okay.
Jason has asked us to include his responses in the minutes. So, they will definitely be done so. Mr. Walters, yours will be as well. Public document, it will be posted. Thank you for coming to this tonight. Thank you for your concern. Thank you for your calm and polite demeanor in this. I know this could have been a very divisive and very boisterous evening. We greatly appreciate everyone's concern, know that we share it, but we want to make sure that we're fair to you as well as to Jason. And we feel that we have truly done, we've done more work on this, and I think of a lot of things that we have spent an inordinate amount of time on. We've researched every day what's happening. Your concern is our concern. You may not like some of the answers that we've provided.
4 days.
I understand that.
And I think next year it's gonna be 5.
You should be happy it's not 5.
Next year it's gonna be 5, and then it's gonna be 6, and it grows 1 every year.
And the unfortunate part is, there's so many things that happen around town that other than the neighbors don't like. Like, people keep their place like a real bad junkyard, or they might, you know, whatever.
Or the
they
dog
use it
bark.
loud at night, or whatever they do. I mean, it's like, you know, we only have so many ordinances that we have to work within.
One last comment, so,
Promise?
since this is supposed to be an event for the community, which is great, you know, there's certain parts of the community that love this, certain parts of the community that not so much. I would make a recommendation to him, if he wants to spend this kind of money on an event, we need an elevator in this building.
Oh, we already did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we had
Then you're done that.
We did that.
Okay, so rather than bringing El Topo to town, we could actually have an elevator?
I think there's a lot of things that we approach Jason for.
You know,
You know?
actually, quite often, I mean,
He
Jason
actually
is
said
not
that
the
you-
devil, don't say. You know, I mean, Jason is actually a very nice man, he's smart,
He's a big dreamer without.
Just one thing for Jason, he does donate a lot to the town, and he does a lot of it anonymously. So I've seen it, so
Yep.
it happens.
We've seen the whole thing, but that's fine.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
We're together, not.
Hey, Bruce.